Hey, we're live. Hey, we're live. Hey, it's just roll with it. Episode 9. It's the ninth episode. Can you watch episode 2 and 3? Don't think you can. It's on my computer. Maybe eventually you can see it. Nate, if you can bring up YouTube if you don't mind, just make sure people can hear us, all that good stuff, the classics. Hey, it's 8:30. Babies go to sleep late sometimes. Level 3 takes a while. We talk about vampire movies for a good bit. It's fine, all right? Just for our one concurrent viewer out there, it's fine. Okay, buddy? Although David Lustig, Carrie, told us that
Yeah,
he watches.
very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Is we've
So
lost a and so Dave, if we will not disappoint you.
I think I'm
We
gonna just
salute
start
you.
working in some bread content. Just like
Good.
maybe you guys will find bread just for David's sake. David likes to cook bread. I think it's davidbakesyouBread.fun for a plug out there. If he's in the chat,
Yeah.
maybe he'll tell us.
Are we just plugging people for
Watching the
a
show?
fan?
Yeah, if you watch
That's
the
great.
show and you casually mention it on our podcast on Wednesday nights, we'll plug your bread endeavors. I can promise you.
That's fair.
Yeah. Hey, it's everyone. Nate, it's playing Hallsdyer. How you doing, Nate?
I'm good. I'm very good.
YouTube's working?
YouTube is working great. You sound crystal clear. You sound
sound
clearer
great.
on YouTube than you do in my ears in this chat.
Good. That's good to hear. Scott, this will be the last time that you Zoom from this location?
Yeah, very light. If all goes well. Yeah,
Gotcha.
this is it.
Scott doesn't cry, is what he told us, but he's leaving the great city of Baltimore to go to Chicago very soon.
Well,
So
I don't cry in front of people.
that's
I
what I'm
do
saying. We're
cry.
gonna try to make you
Oh.
cry in front of people on the show. I think that's what we're gonna do. Rando Pando, Sheila, how's it going?
Just great.
Good.
Doing good.
Love it. Love
Excited
it.
to
Love
see Scott cry tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait. Those
Yeah.
tears are gonna flow. Tina, Valerian, how are you?
I'm well.
Neat. Neat. Good check-in. And Carrie, catching up. Feel like you've got some like finger energy going. You're like kind of bopping, Carrie. Like
Where all my nerves are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just so you know, Scott, I cried multiple times this weekend because I put together a little video collage for my brother because it was his birthday, and I cried when I went through the pictures. And then we surprised a friend for her birthday that night, and I wrote her a poem, and I teared up with that. So I got all the tears flowing.
just letting it go.
What song was on your collage?
It was
Big day.
my brother likes country, so I didn't know.
Toby
I
Keith
was
covering Green Day.
and I was so I was trying to pick for him and not the music I like. So I just looked up Zach Brown Band because I felt like they were good, and there was some song called Homegrown, and it was like really catchy, and so and it just worked out. It was like this person who really loved their life and were thankful for it, and then it was all these pictures of him growing up, and it was adorable actually.
Wow. Okay,
Hi.
Sheila, first crying on the. That's one of us. Maybe all of us should cry. That's
I think so.
We're 9 weeks in. I feel like we're way overdue.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 9 episodes. People watching this. We've been doing this for 9 weeks. If that doesn't tell you how long corn. Well, here comes the D&D. We're getting into it.
9 weeks, David. 9 weeks.
9 weeks, David. How much bread have you baked? I hope you've been able to find yeast and flour. It's been difficult in my area. I almost just doxed where I live on YouTube. I decided to walk it back. Anyway,
Yeah.
here we go. Last week on Just Roll With It, there was a big old battle. They were trying to stop a guy from sailing a ship. They didn't do it. But they didn't die either. So solid times there. They almost did. Right now, they're on a beach, left with this lots of questions. There's lots of questions to ask, and a few leftover goblins and some remnants of the things that are there. So maybe we need to piece together what's happened here a bit. What Bats did say that he would meet you at the front of the cave when you guys were done. So you do know that that is another kind of lingering thing, but technically you kind of walked through the cave. You're on like another side of it if you were curious about where you came out of that. So you'd have to go back through the cave probably to do that, and I'm not going to make you walk step by step that, but there are things to do, things to unwrap. You're level 3 when you go to sleep today, which will, can happen at the town. You guys are definitely, it's still morning, right? Remember, you slept and you had this whole thing, so it's still pretty early. And although these 2 battles took the last 2 sessions in real life, that was maybe under 3 minutes of real life time. So here we are. Because remember, your turns are 6 seconds. That's how you count that. So you find yourself on the beach. After the remnants of the battle, you can see on Roll20 kind of what that all looks like here. And in this big brown square that the audience can't see, but that's fine. I'm not going to bring it up. You'll just deal with it. You is a big swirling black abyssal mess where you sometimes see milky white tentacles wriggling out of the side. And here we go.
That was pretty wild.
What was that, Cashanon? What was that thing?
It was cold and it was gross, and I feel like it's still on me kind of, and I had no idea where I was. Like, I thought I was still here, but you can't see anything in there.
How did you get out?
I kind of just backed out of it. It happened so fast, and I think someone got swept up in there, and I just kind of, it's like we switched places. I feel just lucky. I just feel lucky to be here, and I kind of can't believe I am.
It's really beautiful perspective.
I don't mean to interrupt, but there are still DM goblins and the thing riding the Doober.
Yeah, they're in the surf right now, and they seem to be kind of running their way back to the ship, which you can still see, and it is like floating out into the ocean at the moment, but it's still like fairly close to shore, but it's going out there. You can hear kind of like the calls of Lacklear to the crew. You can hear like goblins laughing, and they're like up on the main staff, kind of like shaking scimitars and things at you and just screaming obscenities. Smug Lug, you understand all of them. The rest of you don't. It's just these barking kind of guttural phrases that are being thrown at you. And then there's a goblin riding a warg who's jumping into the surf deeper, trying to swim towards that. And there's another goblin who's also trying to do that there.
So either maybe we should fight them or leave this beach. I'm not feeling my best.
I think we should get out of here. I mean, they could shoot us at any moment. Also, it doesn't sound like we won. It sounds like they're laughing at us. What are they saying?
It's real filthy. I don't really want to repeat it. It's ugly stuff, and it's personal. So I'd rather not say.
They don't even know us. That's so mean.
Yeah,
All right,
they made a lot of assumptions about all of us.
All right, let's go. I can't. My ego and my literal body can't handle any more of this.
Vlarin, I'm gonna have you roll a perception check if you would.
Sorry, you'd think I would know my mom by now. 13.
13. You're watching the goblins kind of splash as you kind of put yourself together. You are in a lot of pain, but that inner rage of you, or like of that idea.
I was within a throw of death. Yes.
Yeah, the insult, right? The fact that the things aren't right and things aren't organized, and that there are loose ends here is almost building you up into a rage. You're kind of like clenching your teeth, looking at these goblins. You're really upset by it. And then you're almost to the point where you're like, I can swim better than them. I'd have the advantage. Like, even if I'm hurt, I can go and do it. And you immediately see like the water around them kind of roil and bubble. And then they like first the one warg riding the warg and kind of loping, you just see a wave kind of swallow it up, and he's gone. The other goblin, who's kind of like been kind of trying to figure out how to
Guys,
swim,
Look.
but not really confident with it, is about waist deep in the water, and you actually see him fly back and then just get sucked up into the water as well. And both of them are gone. There's no blood. There's no nothing. Just gone.
Water's not supposed to do that.
That looked bad. Not
I would like to run not to the water's edge. I do not want to touch the water. I would like to maintain a knowing water, reasonable distance from the water. I would like to call into the water to ask any water animal living in the water to come, like, so I can see them, not to like kill themselves, but just like to come to me.
Okay. Yeah.
La 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 la, come to me, water animals who understand my words.
You do that, and the sand, like the surf is coming in just kind of gently midday. You hear seagulls in the background. You hear like the ship sounds kind of going and leaving, and a hermit crab actually bubbles up out of the sand right to you and kind of looks up disturbingly knowingly at you and kind of is fiddling like a hermit crab would with its claws.
Hello, in hermit crab. I guess I don't speak. I just speak English and they just understand me. Sorry. Hello, hermit, my friend. Would you wave your little claw at me if the water has become evil?
Roll a persuasion check.
That went from being cocked almost to 20 and chose the 2 sides. That's a 4.
4. The hermit crab kind of stops for a second and doesn't move, but just kind of holds and stares at you. Next to it, bubbling out of the sand, comes another one that's staring at you. And we're talking like hand palm sized hermit crabs, like your typical size. Another one is up kind of there and fiddling, and a third comes up, and they all look and all simultaneously point at you.
Oh, hello, all my friends. I would like to know if the water has been cursed, so or taken over. Would you on the end, if the water is the same as it's always been, you wave, and if the water is better than it's been, you wave, and if the water is worse, you wave.
Hallsteyer, what are you doing?
getting an arrow ready.
Okay, so you got your cross. Okay, roll a perception check for me.
Me?
Yep.
Okie doke. Four, okay. An 8.
Okay, you are fixated on these hermit crabs, and you barely see. And Vlaren, as you're having this conversation, none of you are like, it's strange how you couldn't have seen this figure standing there, but almost seemingly out of nowhere, all on the surf's edge, you see a hunched, robed figure. Its face completely obscured, except for the bottom half, and you can't see any real details of it. But you notice that there's seaweed and just a general air of the sea about it. And he says to you, Vlaren, "Child of the sea,
That's me.
evil is a matter of perspective."
I don't think that's right.
Tell me,
Your
who
name?
do you serve?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Tell me, who do you serve?
Oh,
In
hi.
experience.
I'm Flaren. I work on a boat, and let me tell you about how great this ship is. It's the most magical experience when you sail with us.
Roll a charisma saving throw, please.
Uh-oh. Who do you serve is not a question that leads to good things usually.
17.
17. You're talking, and your voice stops. You are silenced. I will release the spell. But tell me, if you serve the Plunder King. And his hand waves, and you can speak again.
Yeah. You just aerialed me. You don't aerial a Triton. And I would like to just storm off.
Okay, as you turn to do that, the goblin tied to your back, Lunk, is awake, and his head snaps around to this figure. And he screams, "I serve the Plunder King!" And he's like wrestling off of you to get off of your person. This figure raises his hand again. You can see down his sleeve. For those of you watching, Vlaren, you would not. There's actually like crawling that's happening inside the sleeve. You don't see what, but it seems to be moving. And with that, you all see, except for Vlaren, you feel it happen. Lunk's body, all of the moisture of it sucks out. To the point where he just becomes a husk. Like it is, and he screams in agony for a second before just becoming a bunch of skin flakes and dust and just...
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Woof.
Lunk!
That is horrifying.
Really know how I saw that ending.
I can't believe we carried him around for so long just for that to happen to him.
The figure says...
I'll turn back around.
The figure says to you, all who serve, those who would mock death, will meet my master.
None of us do. Just to clear that up before anything else happens, none of us serve the Plunder King. We are very much on the path of fighting people who serve the Plunder King. That was a prisoner.
Roll the persuasion check, Hallstein.
Okay. An 11.
11? Okay. He waves what seems to be a hand and puts it down. And he says, I saw a part of the battle. I suspected that this was the case. You were outnumbered.
It's true. That's true, we were. How'd you think we did?
He says to you, well, for those who were, for 5 people to storm into a battle against a ship's worth with dark magic, and he points over, and you can see the tentacle mess is starting to dissipate now, which seeks to destroy the very fabric of our world. I'm impressed. I will warn you, the limits of my presence here only allow me to answer one more question. Your first, child of the sea, was if the sea had evil. Your second was for me to evaluate how you did in this battle.
Wait, did you tell me whether the sea had evil?
I said,
so evil was
No, you just asked a question!
Oh.
Oh.
he says,
Oh.
No, that's
Oh.
it's the same question.
I'm very confused.
Yeah.
Why did you? No.
The sea itself is not evil.
Remember, you said he was wrong. You said it was the wrong answer, or that it was incorrect.
I'm confused.
But the forces that you're dealing with seek to unseat the very balance of our world and of the deities of this world. Especially
Yeah.
the one I serve, yes.
Can we get together, guys, real quick? Can we just
Huddle.
Yeah.
huddle?
Yeah.
You notice that you guys are pretty far up the beach. This figure is not leaving the ocean's edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. We haven't had a chance to regroup quite yet. We were just we'll be back in a second. All right, guys.
Gathering.
Just ask who he is, right? Shouldn't we know his name?
I'm really curious as to who he is.
Anyone who's proficient, as you guys are having this huddle, anyone who's proficient in history, as in you've had the little dot filled in, or religion, you can roll to see if you would know.
Guys, let me check my history Rolodex back here.
I want to think on my religion a little bit.
We do have 2 clerics.
Oh, damn. Okay, 5 for history.
I got 5 for religion.
Neither of you recognize this figure.
I got
don't know.
10 from religion.
Our rolling is poor.
So you
They're thrown from the heat of battle.
with a 10 Zep, you would know, you would be able to guess. You wouldn't know with certainty that this was a servant of a god. And based on the environment, you would guess that it is either one of the, so basically there are 4 gods and they have like saints or kind of demigod servants under them. The 4 gods are Daon, the goddess of nature, Calliope, the goddess of creation, the man in gray, the god of death, and Torn, the god of order. So you would guess, Zep, that based on your environment, that this was either a member of the Gathered, which is the group that serves Daon, the goddess of nature, or a member of the Callers, those that serve the god of death, the man in gray.
Well, I'd guess that this guy is a follower of 2 different tribes, either one of the Gathereds or the Callers, serving either nature or death, one or the other.
He did talk about death. He didn't want somebody to not die something, but we could also just ask that.
But we only can ask one thing.
So-
I'd
so-
ask how we get that fancy hat that guy was wearing.
I do feel like it's kind of unfair. He told us we only had 3 questions after we had asked 2. Usually,
mean, it's-
preface.
And of course, it's valuable to get feedback, so nobody's regretting that one. But
Well, we just can't really spend much time on the past, right? It happened. Then.
I also
Right.
think that he might leave soon, so we should just pick a question,
Or negotiate for more questions.
or just
I-
ask a question.
Should we
I
ask
like the
how to
hat.
kill the Plunder King? Should we
oh
ask,
yeah,
That could be.
that's a good question.
does he know how to defeat him?
Cashinon, go
Cashinon.
ahead and ask.
Hello, sir. We have our final question. How do we defeat the Plunder King?
The figure doesn't. It's strange. It kind of pauses for a second. Roll an insight check, Cashinon.
$17.
Okay. With a roll like that, something in like the way it moves, and it's kind of this strange like clicky movement, and typically it would be kind of disturbing, but you sense from the nature that it moves that it's touched by that question. It's kind of like impressed by that question as it pauses to say, and says, "This is truly a noble question to ask. And unfortunately, I don't have the answer.
Aww.
All I can say is that the Plunder King has wreaked havoc in this world before and is responsible for a great amount of suffering in this world. Our gods are bound by rules, and he seeks to unseat them. A creature outside of the rules of the gods stands to upset the entire balance. And there's only so much that we can do. The answer that you seek will have to be found and likely implemented by someone brave enough to ask."
It's not a bad answer, guys, right? I mean, we did get a little compliment in there.
It's completely unhelpful, though.
Let's not start blaming people for questions. We didn't do it before, so I don't really think
Oh, no. I thought it was a great question. I think it's a bad answer.
As that
though.
question ends, the
Oh,
robe
don't step on the hermit crabs.
the robe that is on him blows away to sea foam and kind of just like floats on the breeze, and the pieces that are left behind kind of become these husks of seaweed that just wash onto the shore. And where the form was just bursts into a bunch of hermit crabs that just roll into the ocean.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's just a pile of hermit
Have a
crabs.
good
the whole
time finding your next home.
I'm just gonna say, bodies suddenly becoming annihilated into tiny parts is one of my primal fears. So this has been a real weird 2 minutes for me.
Don't look, Halsdire. Cover your eyes.
It does kind of remind you of the cycle of life from death back to birth. It's kind of
Probably-
beautiful, really. I'm
probably right.
marinating on it.
All right. Shall we go?
Let's get out
I
of
don't know
here.
why I'm feeling an urge to. Can I bring one of these hermit crabs with me? Is that bad?
Yeah. So actually, one of them is still remaining there, and Pando, as a Circle of the Shepherd, you can speak to the one of the beasts as it turns around there. You can talk to it.
Ooh, and it'll talk back to her, right?
Let me double check, but I think the answer is yes.
While this is going on, I'm going to go back to the mouth of the cave real quick, having remembered something.
Your wolf?
I was
Yeah.
about to ask your wolf.
It's exactly my wolf. And you're like, hey, you're like, oh, I think that her guy's kind of cute. I'm like, my fucking wolf. And I run back to the mouth of the cave.
Yeah, it probably lacks the intelligence to give you any kind of complicated answer, but it can relate like its base memories to you through like how a crab would communicate.
I don't know what to ask it now that I have this power. Can I just want to ask, would it like to come with us? Would it be useful if it came with us?
It like does like a and what you get in the noble language of crabs is something akin to like, yes, me follow, something along those lines. And he crawls up to you and then like lifts up his arms as if to be collected.
All right. I mean, I will collect the hermit crab and I want to put it in my little satchel.
Sure. Yeah.
You should put something wet in there too. Then
Ooh, good call.
hermit crabs need some water.
I would say, Pando, with Druidcraft, you could get like a wet sponge or a plant. Like you could probably create something daily that would be akin to a cantrip that would keep a hermit crab happy. You could create an environment for this creature.
Okay.
So Halsdire, you were looking at...
Yes. Sorry, my roommate texted. The
Roommate, what's a
Oh.
roommate? D&D. That's
well,
dumb.
I mean, there was also an aerial reference earlier, and I want to get back to that. Because I think it was said in character, but I'm looking for for Blitzer at the mouth of the cave.
Oh, you were not in the last bit of it. Blitzer actually, like, you cast hideous laughter on a guy.
Yeah.
Blitzer, like, totally just ripped that guy's throat open. So he's there,
Right.
and he is just, like, eating dead goblin at this point.
Oh,
he is
okay.
like, yeah.
Then I'm not
he's
worried about Blitzer. I'm very proud of Blitzer.
good.
Blaren, you have some lunk dust on your back. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
thank you.
get the rest of it off. May he rest, I guess.
I don't know that he is.
Ugh.
Yeah, thank you so much. Is it in my hair? I feel like it's in my hair.
There's a
I
couple
can't-
here.
Can't stop thinking how crazy it is that we carried him around for so long for him to get like
Well, and I
evaporated.
feel a little bad because we kept knocking him out, and then when I went unconscious, I fell on him.
I mean, he had brain damage before we met him, but he definitely had brain damage further after me.
Now that the writhing mess of tentacles is gone, you see the remnants now of the puppet that was there, and there's a crate there too that has been smashed and ripped to bits as well. There was another puppet that was carrying a crate as well that had it fall on it. So those are the two things that you would see. There are also a bunch of dead goblin corpses. So just a reminder of like what you'd be seeing visually if you wanted to look at anything.
So we should clean up and then go see what's bat.
Let's go loot.
Loot.
All right.
I would like to see can we see what was in the crate?
Yeah, which one do you want to check? The one by the tentacled mass, or the one with that I believe the puppet's arms fell off and it had just crushed it?
Oh yeah, the one that crushed that puppet.
Okay, yeah, so you can walk over to that and you would open it up. It would take a little bit of doing there, but what you would find in that particular one is this seemed to be just kind of like odds and ends, like the last things that they were going to pack up just kind of slammed in there. In this one, you see maybe just like a few different like trinkets and things like just personal effects. Some of them actually look quite old, like lockets and things. You find like an assemblage of jewelry in there. You find a scroll, a spell scroll of Pass Without a Trace. So if you want to write that in your inventory, you have that. And there's also a big ceramic jug that you feel like should have probably broken. Like you see other like fragments of smaller things that have broken, but this jug is not broken. And there's a big jug in it, and the jug sounds full of something, and it is sloshing when you hear it.
Oh yeah, can I take a look see inside there?
You
Give it a little
sure
sniff?
can. Let me just look up this and make sure.
How do I add to my inventory?
I believe it's an equipment on D&D Beyond.
Oh yeah, inventory. Add items.
Okay, you look inside of the jug, and when you lift off the top, you get the unmistakable smell of beer.
Oh, well, I'd save this for later.
And it is pretty much full to the brim. If you had to estimate, it would be a lot of beer. Roughly 4 gallons worth of beer is in there.
Oh, that seems like a lot.
Hey, how much beer do you have there, Zeb?
Oh,
much?
quite enough for all of us. Probably several gallons. That's a lot of beer. You guys want to partake?
Maybe not just yet.
Oh, I guess it's yourself.
Crack yourself a road beer.
I'm gonna take it.
So
Is it
you are
cold? I
like
hate winter.
carrying currently it's gonna require you to like heft this thing.
Oh,
but you got it.
that's
Yeah.
big. Oh, I thought it would be like a milk jug.
No. Let me look at the dimensions of it, but I believe it's quite big.
We should take it.
Let's
Yeah, I
share
feel
it
like we
with-
need something to bring us closer together, some like campfire chats.
I mean,
and we'll share it with Whatbat.
I agree. We should share it with Whatbat.
Can
Yeah.
someone help me carry
Maybe
this?
put some juice in it because it's 7 a.m.
Well, we don't have to drink it quite yet.
Okay.
We'll get to the village. We'll go somewhere.
And I'm sorry, I was wrong. It is like a 1 gallon jug, so it is smaller than that.
I was
I've
just gonna
already
say-
tipped my hand. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you exactly how it works, but I already tipped my hand that something about gallons can happen with it. It has about 1 gallon of beer in it right now.
I misread it. It's a lot less than I thought. I've been very flustered.
It was quite a bit that just happened.
It was horrifying. There was a lot of blood out there, and I almost died. Thank you guys for saving my life. I was quite frightened myself.
Have any of? Well, first off, you're welcome. But I think all of us got each other's backs here.
Got your back.
Good job, everybody.
Oh,
Cap, I'm pretty sure you saved me. Thank you.
oh, of course, of course.
Has anybody here fought gods before, or been involved in God's business, or the business of celestial, primordial, any sort of thing?
No, and while we're talking about this, can I go loot the bugbears? Or the weapons?
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
armor, weapons.
Each of the bugbears has a mace on it, like a pretty big armored mace. The personal effects of them, they don't really have much. They're not really clothed all that much. One of them has a thigh pouch on, and in it is just like a little whittled stone that appears to be like of a really kind of shitty bugbear face. But that's about it. It's just like a little whittling knife and a little stone that it was carving. Yeah.
Does it the good hackled bugbears?
Yeah, it was
Like
the good
this?
hackled bugbear. Yeah.
I will take the good hackled bugbears likeness. And mace. I'm sorry, but I meant Nate, keep talking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I don't really remember what I was saying.
You were asking if we've dabbled with
Yeah, has anybody?
The business of God.
the business
anybody-
of God.
This feels big time. Am I the only one who thinks this is big time?
Feels pretty big.
It's like a big deal.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Zep, you would know, even though you weren't able to identify that person, you would know that, like, the gods definitely walk among us. You probably had teachers, and you too, Pando, and you too, Kashanon. You probably met people who actually met the gods. Hallsdyer, you probably met people that bragged about it in bars, but you never were confirmed. You guys knew people like your village elders or like family members who may have had chance encounters with the gods. Same thing with you, Vlarin. Your like elders of your city would probably have talked to gods or the gods, demigods underneath of them. But it's more common for people to have chance encounters with demigods. But Zep, you're pretty sure that just happened with you, and that is special. And that means that you are touching a fate line, right? That means that you are on something grander than yourself. And it's often up to the mortal to decide what that means. But this is a pretty important thing that's happened.
Yeah, I think we got in touch with gods. We all just had a godlike experience.
Well said. No, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like some of the elders at the monastery would talk about their experiences with gods. I imagined I'd feel like I do right now if I ever came that close.
There's a story that we tell about this Triton lady, and she became a merfolk. She became a mermaid, and then she like got legs, right? And that's but then she sacrificed herself and became sea foam. So maybe he's all like related to her.
Oh, is that the story you were referring to earlier about?
Yes, because she loses her voice in some versions as well because a sea witch takes it away from her. There are competing storytellers in my where I'm from, and some feel very strongly that she ended by defeating the sea witch, and she did this all for love. I don't.
Vlarin is telling this story in the tone of a second grader telling show and tell, while gently, not so gently, ripping off a thigh band from a dead bugbear carcass to loot a body she killed.
Pretty. So anyway, but yes,
Wait.
Ariel.
That's a lot of excitement to happen under the sea.
It is, but you know what they say: the seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. So.
Okay, all right.
The guy comes back and turns both of you into dust.
Speaking of, I'm only going to take one of these maces. Does anybody want a mace? I've got 2 more.
I'd love mace.
I'll take one.
I believe it is a mace, so it's a duber. It's not a spray.
I don't know what it is. I'll take it.
Well, it sounds like Pando knew what it
into your
wanted
inventory.
it, so maybe
What's that?
Pando, did you also want it? And you know what mace is or a mace is?
Mace.
Yeah, I'll take. If you have 2, I'll take one.
Pando, I will say, as a druid, there are some rules against what you can wear and what you can use.
Okay.
You would not use anything that is primarily metal. You would only be wearing things that
That's true.
came from natural implements, such as leather and wood and things like that. So you can certainly have one to do it, just to have it as a trinket. And like, I'm not going to cut you off there, but it's like a matter of principle almost. You wouldn't use it in a fight.
You know what? My mind's been blurry from all of this this crazy day we've been having. I don't want it. Ooh.
Just to go back to the story about the Triton girl. So she goes from being a Triton, and Tritons like you have legs,
Right.
and then she becomes a mermaid.
So this again,
And-
remember
Which
there
exists
can
in
be
this
different
world.
stories. So like in some stories, she just starts out as a mer person and then becomes a human, and that's probably the most common. But sometimes my friends and I, we would pretend to play the story, and we would imagine that when she was a mer person, that she then became a Triton, because we're better than the mer people.
Because it does seem like a very complicated.
Yeah, and there was this like really great part of the story where she like got on this rock and just went like, and we used to do that a lot in the water under the rock.
Is that written in the story? They described it like that?
Yeah, you should hear them sing about it, because there are like some songs that go with it. It's very, you're a storyteller. It's can be powerful to have that imagery.
I've had similar stories. The ones I have that I know are so sad. Nobody ever asked to hear them.
To be fair, the one version ends with her throwing herself and becoming sea foam, and that's
that's the one I know.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
sad, but Zep still hasn't shed a tear about it. I'm kind of worried.
No, that's a painful story.
It might be because I didn't tell it very well. I'm not very good.
I'm
at
gonna go
stories.
check out. Did we check out the crushed crate?
The crushed crate is what you found the jug in. You didn't check out the one that got tentacled. No.
I'm gonna check out the tentacled one.
Great. You see over there that this puppet is simultaneously frozen and like burnt, almost as like with a corrosive bit. Like it is like destroyed, and so is the crate. And it's unfortunate because this crate had a lot of paper in it. And that paper has been largely destroyed. Roll an investigation check for me.
That sounded as how good the roll was. I got an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
The only thing that you're able to piece together from that, actually, because it's the fact that you're looking at that, there's like a lot of burnt edges of like scrolls and papers, and you're kind of pulling them out, and some of them like you're just like a little too rough with, and they actually kind of like destroy in your hand. You're kind of like, oh fuck, I think if I was slower at that, I would have been able to look at it. But you notice that there's a map, and on the map, because you come from there, you recognize Alecliff. And there's a note written actually in common, that says the last known sighting of the Plunder King's ship and wealth. And there seems to be a circle of that. Alecliff's a pretty decent way away, but it does seem to be that this is a place that they might be planning on going.
So first off, my big dumb hands ruined everything, and I'm mad about that. I might cry in front of everybody. Not right now.
You're
but
being
maybe.
vulnerable, Hallsdire.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry.
Secondly, I think I might know where they're going.
What?
Everyone.
Yeah?
Huh?
Alecliff.
Oh, and is that why ale is in the gallon container?
Whoa, they were all clues.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we could say that. There are cliffs over there too.
Whoa, even more.
Yeah, and also it's spelled differently.
All right, homonyms are. You can understand the confusion.
Like getting confused about mace. I just want to throw that out there, just for Go on.
And the many versions of that story about the mer lady who doesn't appreciate what she has.
I don't know if that's really the takeaway.
I don't know. She's a sad seafoam creature. But anyway, when we first met each other at the tavern, I don't know if you remember this, but I immediately met you and info dumped. Told you everything about myself, including a piece of my history that I really shouldn't have been sharing, but I was a little drunk.
Oh, what? Oh, me
Wait,
and Pando.
FOMO, I feel like I missed out on something.
I know. So guys, I ran with a pretty, frankly, fun crowd in Alecliff.
Fun how?
But you're suggesting we're not fun.
Oh, no. You guys are fun. I was going to describe them pejoratively, but I don't feel that way. I feel like they were a bunch of fun, awesome people, but we were all criminals. So, I'm not there for reasons.
That's very rock and roll. Very Billy Joel.
Thank you. The Piano Man and I, like that. We both sing about islands. His is a long one. Mine is the many. Here.
I like that Billy Joel and Adam Sandler now exist in this world. Like, presumably, I have to have them somewhere in this world. And that Pando, who's lived in a forest most of her life, is very into their bodies of work.
Oh, sure. Well, we've all heard of Billy Joel. Yeah, we know who that is.
Yeah. Bottle of red, bottle of white.
Only the good die young.
White and red what?
It changes depending on what part of the song you're in.
Hallsdire, you recognize that this is probably a part of what might be a plan of theirs. Alecliff is a good distance away. It would be a long journey with probably stops along the way. Maybe the answers were in this crate, but you also remember that you ran through their main hideout to get here. So there might be some more evidence in there.
I've been divinely inspired. I believe we should probably go back through the main area, back through the cavern. While it's empty, I assume. Maybe we'll find Whatspat.
He's out front.
Well, then that'll be a good way to get back to him anyway. But we should go back and see if we can find any plans, because if they're ultimately going to Alecliff, it looks like this is where the Plunder King was last. So if they're ending there, they might be hitting some other islands and collecting people, shoving them into barrels, and making puppet babies out of them.
Human puppet babies, we don't like those.
No, we don't.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
All right. Well,
All right.
Real quick, did we hit everything that we could loot? Were there any other
There were
money?
goblin bodies. I would say that you could pick up a few javelins. Those of you who use javelins, you could find 2 working ones for each of you. Kashanon, you could have gotten your boomerang back. And otherwise, I would say each of you finds roughly 2 gold. The goblins don't have a lot there. Each of them had scimitars and things like that. So if you want some daggers or extra weaponry, you could pick it up, but it's nothing too big.
Thank you.
Right.
When we get back to go across the thingy, I would like again to talk to my piranha friends.
Sure. Before you get there, though, remember you go back into the room where they were all hauled up, and Grib's body is there, and the body of the fat, blubbery goblin is still like the vines are gone, and the system that it was on has crushed, but it still has like a couple of little puppets. Kind of like almost like that size, almost like wheels, trying to like pull and get out from under it.
Do you remember Grib shouted something to the fat one, Zep, right before he tried to run? Didn't
yeah.
you murdered Grib, right? Or you killed, sorry, we should probably use that.
No, Pando.
Pando.
Murder is a loaded term.
Pando, you killed Grib, right?
Yes.
Yes.
He said something to the fat one right before. Do you remember what it was?
About, I thought it was like, I gotta live for the greater cause or something, but you're gonna die.
It's a vibe I got from it.
Similar vibe to that, yeah, to what Zep said.
Well, does anybody? I'm gonna look at Grib.
There are some papers still strewn around here too, right? They're like they were in the past of getting part of getting out, so there's stuff all over the room.
I'm gonna do a perception check on the room or investigation. What do you think?
Yeah, roll investigation if you're gonna want to do a search.
Another good one.
6.
Okay, so you're just kind of like, you can't even find a place to start. There's a lot of it there, and it just kind of like, somebody else could make a check, but Halsdyer is like, he looks at one thing for a second and then moves on to another thing and like changes.
As I have a learning disability, I can't even begin to tackle this.
Could I look around?
Yep.
Yeah.
Investigation?
Yep.
You say? Oh, 8.
With an 8, again, same kind of thing. You find more evidence that of like emblems to the Plunder King and things like that. You find more of those sorts of things. That sort of idea.
Can I check too?
Yep.
Wait, is this investigation or is it?
Investigate. I mean, if you guys want to spend a fair amount of time here, you can check basically as many times as you want. It just takes you more time. So you're kind of, yeah.
Real quick, is anybody particularly skilled at investigation?
I'm good with perception, not investigation.
Well, I got a +2 on investigation, but that's not great shakes.
Or no, I have a -2.
Oh, that's not good.
I think I had the best numbers. Okay.
So Nate,
It's
you can go.
intelligence.
You could try it again. It just means that it's going to take you some time. So you remember there are 2 bodies to search while you're doing this. There are places like
11.
Yeah, I'd like Fatto if I could.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation check on that, and then Halsire, you rolled an 11
Yeah, for Grib.
for Grib. Okay, Grib actually has a potion on him. That when you open up smells of peppermint, which you immediately recognize from having drank one recently, is a health potion. So he does have that. What else does Grib have on him? I gotta look this boy up real quick.
Look that boy up.
Grib.
Cajun style.
I think that's it. He has a puppeteer's kit, and he has some basic like engraving tools. He has smith's tools.
How heavy are the engraving tools?
Like half a pound. Like they're in like a little kit.
I'll take that and the puppeteer. I'll take all that. I mean, Smith tools sound heavy though.
Yeah, actually, probably a couple pounds or so. I mean, we're not super worried about it, but you'd be able to roll it up and put it in a pack.
All right, I'll take all that.
Great. He also has just some notes in Goblin that are about like enchantment ideas and enchantment spells and Some of them get into like actual deep speech and infernal. The language changes. It's pretty creepy stuff. But there's like there's like a book of notes that are kind of just like half drawn there. Vlarin, you rolled for
8.
8. Okay. You definitely see the puppet trying to squirm out from under there. There's a small silver mirror tied to around his neck. This fat goblin seemed to like to look at himself. He also has a puppeteer's kit. You can see that he has like nimble, delicate little like untouched fingers, and he's just kind of like just like a heap of blubber on himself. He's a pretty disgusting thing.
No weaponry or potions or any kind of
Nope.
like useful stuff.
Empty wineskin, but otherwise no.
Kashanon,
Yeah.
I had that he apparently likes to make puppets. You are Hallsteyer, like the making of things in puppets. Do you want this?
Hallsdyer, you love yourself a puppet. Do you feel like you want a kit?
Is it a puppeteer's kit? I have one. I just found one on Grip.
Oh, Kashanon?
Yeah, you never know when it's gonna come in handy. I'll take it. Thank you.
Sure.
There are a bunch of notes around here. I want to take a look at them, and also I want to Zep. You want to take a look at these notes? They're in Goblin.
Oh yeah, I speak Goblin. Let me take a look, see at them.
One of
All
you
right.
guys can roll at advantage.
Roll.
An investigation check.
I'll roll at advantage on investigation.
Take it away.
All right. I got a 13.
Okay. So as you're looking in through that Zep, basically that's what you find. It's like enchantment things. It is talking about being able to transfer life into mechanical forms. It is talking about the idea that once undeath is accomplished, that undeath can be transferred to frames that have become kind of damaged in other cases. And you actually see in Grib's notes that he has a couple of different like problems to work out in there. One of it talks about Alecliff and what they might find for the Plunder King. And there are a bunch of question marks there. There's like not a lot of questions, but you see kind of like written and scribbled and then written again. Like, would he have decayed is basically the question that is written there. It also talks of the ruin of the captured Echo and the vicious whisper near Emscord. And it talks about two sisters, Minerva and Ursa Morelli, and the fact that basically it's questioning like sea damage, bloating, like eaten by creatures. It's like a bunch of like questions of like what might have happened, it seems, to their corpses. And the last one that you see there is talking about Cortest Barrel Breaker. And it questions capture the might of the orc in new form, ?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's a lot of dark stuff, but definitely some stuff we should probably investigate. Anybody know about Cortez Barrel Breaker or Minerva and Ursa Morelli?
The names wouldn't ring a bell to any of them, but Zep, if you would continue on to say Emscord, that would immediately sound to you, Vlarin. This is a region where the Tritons live, near, and Emscord is where you come from, essentially. It's a very kind of private portion of the map, Emscord is run by human traders mainly, and where you come from is a line of protected islands where Tritons live and lizard folk live. You mainly only interact with the humans that let people in. You kind of trade with them, and they trade with the outside world. Very rarely do you leave. But that is Emscord, and that ruin is apparently near your city.
Oh, I live near that ruin.
Oh, well, maybe we want to investigate there or something. Yeah, it's related to these here notes.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
So that it's like a place from your past?
It's like where I grew up. It's where they sing the really great Ariel stories.
Oh.
Emscord, Valerian is also pretty far away off. You would probably, to get to Alecliff and to get to Emscord, you would need a larger ship than is at your disposal right now.
And would we have any idea if they're in the same direction? Like, are they near each other?
No, actually they're not. Emscord is pretty far down to the south, and Alecliff is up towards the northwest.
Well, we don't really have a chance to get there either way, so...
Oh, I'm sorry. Hallstire, as you're searching, you find plans for the recruitment. It's talking about how they need more supplies, they need bigger ships, they're going to need basically more followers in order to achieve this. These places that are mentioned in these writing are actually closer. They are currently targeting, it looks like, the knoll packs of Rip Reef Rock, Griff's Keep, which you would know, Hallstire, as a place of kind of ill repute where basically the one law is that everything can be bought and everything can be sold. It's a mercenary hub, and the idea is there are no, like, morals about it, no ethics about it. Like, if anything you want to offer can be bought, and as long as it's willingly and consensually offered or given, anything can be transacted on this island. It mentions the calmest depths, which, if you were to present to Valerin, she would also recognize as being kind of on the way in. That's pretty far away, actually, but it's past Emscord, and it is a sea that not a lot of people go to because Marrow live there, which are terrible, kind of demon-like merfolk. And
I told you, they're very mean.
Yeah, and the last one it says that they're looking to recruit is the Armada, which many of you have heard. You would know it is a huge fleet of ships of Orcish and Goliath band, and basically when it descends upon an island, it just like rips, tears, pillages, takes what it needs, and keeps going on. It is a moving nation, essentially, on the sea.
Well, these notes are bringing up some pretty no, I don't want to say scary, but these mean business. We've got what was the name of the moving nation?
That's the moving nation is the Armada. You don't know where they are right now, so you don't know if they're close or not. The most attainable places right now are the knoll packs of Rip Reef Rock and Griff's Keep. Both of those would be within a week's journey of island hopping. You'd probably have to make a couple stops.
Let's go ahead and let me see how that first one is written, because I'm not sure I'm catching it. That's cool.
Gnolls are like dog-like creatures that live there, and they live on Rip Reef Rock.
Oh, that's not what I read.
Yeah, no. Okay, so that's not what I was hearing in my head. So we could go there, which, I mean, dog people, is that,
Like,
you know. Huh?
They're not really people. They're not terribly humanoid, right?
They're basically if hyenas and people were smashed together and retained a lot of the hyena side.
Or everyone's favorite completely unethical or amoral trading place. Any of you all have been there?
I don't know that I have yet. Why don't we maybe hop back to What's Bat and see if he's still about.
All right.
And maybe we should go back to the tavern and see if we can get paid for whatever it is that just happened.
I mean, we chased them off the island.
Yeah, for a non-negotiated price, but I feel like maybe.
Worth a shot.
Oh, yeah, Zep and Pando, we should tell you, we did not do a good job negotiating payment at the beginning of this.
I didn't realize this was even a mission, so any payment would be quite unexpected.
I
All right.
misspoke. I meant to say GIFs keep, and I showed you what a GIF is in the chat. It's a moving image format.
Yo, we need to go to Gifts Keep. There are some awesome looking things called GIFs. Have you ever been there? Have you ever seen a GIF?
Never seen one.
All right.
It's not a GIF.
So I will say, do not say that in front of them.
Oh, sorry.
All right. But no, it's a GIF. And they are the best. We got to go see them, okay? And plus, it seems like it's basically a 50-50 on which one of these locations is going to help us more. I agree, though. We should head back to What's Pat.
Great. So you can walk through the cavern, Valerian. You can say hey to your piranhas. Is there anything else you want to do in the cave before you leave?
I would like to just in the bivouac, I would like to just hang a flyer that like makes a note that like I decorated it and they can come look up my ship if they want.
Great.
Like the flyers that I have, but like with a note like this is what you could expect on a Flaren tour.
Great.
Yeah.
You do.
What was it? What did we see Pando the little guys eat?
The
Our little fungus
dead
friends.
goblins.
Dead goblins. Could we bring him a body from outside from the beach?
Oh, there are plenty within where you are right now. There are like dead goblins. You could.
Okay,
you could
yeah, I
feed them.
want to take a couple dead goblins to those guys.
Great. Valerian, you could also feed one to your piranhas if you wanted to.
Yes, please.
Awesome.
Actually, I'd like to, if I had thought about it and it's not too much time, I'd like to specifically give the piranhas a bugbear.
Okay, that'll take some doing. That
Then never mind. I will grab the nearest goblin.
Okay, great. You can probably easily pick up the fat one if you wanted to. Give him a good
I
meal.
would.
Yep.
Pando, do you want to grab a second goblin to feed to the fungus people?
If you will, I will. Yeah.
Right.
I'll just pick
Is
one
this
up.
making any of us evil? Okay, great. Just,
Not any more than like I don't care about that kind of stuff. Like,
Great. that's fine. Just checking.
yeah, it's what was being done before this.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing it out of disrespect to the goblins. I like these little fungus people, and I want to go back and say goodbye to them and give them a little present.
Whoever's
just
better at
yes-anding
persuasion between Pando and Hallsteyer, roll a persuasion check for me.
One of us.
Mhm.
Oh, let me do it.
Oh, wow. Oh, yep.
Okay, I got a 14.
14?
Yeah.
Okay, you throw it down there, and one of them actually hops up kind of like defensively, but then sees what you're doing. And then after that, they accept it. You slide it down to them. They eat it. Then you can see that they kind of like start to pick at it. They will bring back up to you a fine cloth pennant trimmed with fox fur.
Oh, that's very sweet. I thank them.
They just kind of walk away. They just throw it at you. And then
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay, they understand trade, apparently.
What do the piranhas give me?
No, great show. They rip apart the fat goblin in like a disturbingly quick amount of time. And the water is just reeked with blood for a bit, and then they just suck it all up. It's gone.
And then you can still see the leg at the bottom.
Yep, big metal leg down at the bottom of the. Yep, it's still down there. Yeah.
Do we need that big metal leg, anyone?
How would we get it?
We could sell it. Oh, how do we get it? Good point. I think Valerian could get it.
I could try. I don't. If you would like me to, I will.
I don't know. No, nobody seems to be biting. No pun intended.
Good one.
Let's get out of here. Also,
Well, there are a couple areas we didn't explore in here. I'm looking at the map. There's some.
oh, you're right. They're right.
Here. I would like to see what's there at least.
I
Okay.
think you're
So if you are walking down, we'll say you're walking from we'll say that you just did the Vegapygmy thing. You actually walk by this big mech that Grib had. Nobody's really checked that out yet either. But as you walk by down that path, this is what you see. There is a goblin sitting there. And there are just webs all over the place, and the goblin is sitting in the web. For a second, it looks like he is like wrapped up in it, but then you realize that it's actually like a fashioned hammock, and he is lounging with his leg kind of hanging out the side, and he's just throwing a skull, a small skull, up and catching it, and behind him is a giant spider, probably about the size of a horse, like an actual full-grown horse, in its web, and it does seem to be sucking at some large wad of web that it seems to be eating.
right. The guy with the spider.
That's disgusting over there.
As soon as he hears you guys coming, his head pops up out of the side there, and you hear this. Hey, you bringing something to feed?
What?
Are you bringing something? You bringing something Mary can eat?
I do
Panda-
have a hermit crab.
Don't you?
No.
You still have the second body.
Oh my god, duh. Yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Hermit Crab. I didn't mean it like that.
Also, there's a whole bunch out on that beach over there that you could just grab.
Oh
How
yeah, a whole
long
lot of
ago?
dead bodies.
How long ago they die?
Very fresh.
Fresh.
20 minutes.
All right,
Like
we might
sushi.
check it out. You got one you want to haul in here?
Panda,
Sure. Take this one.
you like nature.
I love nature.
Is it worth something to you? Okay. What's your name?
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh boy, your persuasion is not great.
Not as bad as anything to do with intelligence. 10.
10.
Hey.
He says, all right. You can pick something out of what we found off of these guys. And he kind of nods down, and there's just like a little heap on the side there. He says, she won't go unless I whistle. Don't make me whistle.
Got it.
Pick
I'm
one.
sorry, what is your name?
What's that?
What's your name?
You tell me, I tell you.
Hi, I'm Blaren.
Diz Dugs.
Hi,
Big
Disney.
Come again?
Diz Dugs.
It's stuck.
Diz Dugs?
Diz Dugs.
Did you say the spider's name was Mary?
Yep.
Like
Okay.
Mary as in the Virgin Mary or Mary as in happy?
I ain't listen. I've been with her whole life. I never seen her have any eggs or anything like that. I mean, we don't do anything funny like that. If that's what you're implying.
No,
Yeah, no.
invitation intended.
No, Pando's not questioning whether you've had sex with your spider.
You look through the pile now.
All right, yeah.
Right.
It's a
Pick
worthy
one.
question.
Take one. Don't make me
Thank you,
whistle.
Zach.
Can I see what's there? I rolled.
Yep.
Can
Roll an investigation check.
investigation?
Yep.
Oh, 15.
Oh, good. Okay, so you actually look, and you do have a second to kind of just collect yourself and look around. It looks mainly like trinkets and such. One of them in particular seems to kind of catch your eye more than others, and you're like, it's a ring, and you think to yourself, all right, I think that's the one I should probably go with. That, like, something about the way the light catches it. It's looking pretty good.
I'm going to take this one, if I may.
Just pick one.
On it. Ding. Thank you.
Great.
Well, I guess we best be moseying on out of here.
Do we each get one or just one overall for the group?
Bro, one body, you get one thing. Don't make me whistle.
You guys
No whistling.
get out of
No
here
whistling.
before he whistles.
Bizbuds, it was so nice to meet you. If you ever need travel for you and Mary by sea, here's my information. We'd be happy to take you on the most
I don't leave. All I need is Mary, and not in the kind of weird way that you were implying. Just turn around and keep it walking.
Okay, I'll just tack this to your wall for you.
Pando, why are you putting this Mary you know's business out there?
Listen, I had to know, okay?
Who's this Mary that you're telling everyone she hasn't had sex with anyone?
Listen, during my rock and roll phase, I came along some people, all right? I played the field a little bit.
No, but that's the opposite of what you're saying about this person. So it's more confusing, your explanation.
I played the field in the way I wanted to play it.
With virgins? With a bunch of virgins?
Is that so wrong?
I don't understand this story. When you were having your rock and roll days, you hung out with this lady named Mary who wouldn't have sex with you?
Yes. What is more rock and roll than that? I don't know what I've just
I don't know.
Is he like the one who got away? Is Virgin Mary the one who got away?
I didn't want to cry in front of people.
Oh.
Did she call herself Virgin Mary, or do you call her Virgin Mary? Because I feel
so-
bad calling her that if it's just what you call her.
It's an odd thing to fixate on.
Listen, let's just say it ended poorly and it's had a profound effect on how I perceive the world these days.
Okay, well, I think when
I'm ready to unpack it, let's say maybe over that gallon of beer that we had,
That's true.
I'm ready to unpack it.
Sharing it around anytime anybody wants to partake.
I'll have a swig.
Oh, here you go.
Can we just round the corner from the
Yeah, let's get away from it. Let's get away from Big
I'm
Dog.
sorry.
There's a lot of gossiping I want to do about that man and his spider.
Gossiping, is that a form of a prank?
Yeah, I guess it is. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, though. I think that's what got me into pranks in the first place. I love gossip. You guys got gossip?
I mean, I've got some gossip about Pando, I think, but
What?
I mean, just from this conversation we had, I mean,
Well, I was there.
I'm just gonna say, if anybody, yes, I know you were there. This was speculative gossip. They don't want to say in front of Pando.
As you guys are saying this, I assume you're leaving the cave. Is that correct?
Yes, we're all walking to the cave. He and I
Okay.
are in the back talking.
You
Blitzer's with us.
Blitzer is with us.
Blitzer.
sure
I
is.
called
Why
Blitzer.
not? You're walking and you walk down and you walk past the log trap and the little broken rat and like the good times you had there. You make your way out to the front of the cave, and you're all kind of carrying on with that. And you see Whatbat's peek his head around the corner as he's there, and he kind of is just like kicking at a barrel, and he says, "Oh well, I don't know. I hope it all went well. I was looking at this barrel. It looks like there was a person stuck in these two barrels here. It looks like they got out.
They got it was these two.
Yeah, that was
Oh.
my barrel.
Oh,
We
well,
did that.
Well, glad to hear it. Doesn't look like it would be a fun little place to travel. What was that you were saying about Pando and some gossip or something?
Pando can't. Okay, if you met somebody who had the same name as your ex, and you were trying to clarify how their name is spelled,
Yeah.
would you say, "Oh, like my ex," to them, like a stranger who doesn't know your ex?
I suppose if I'd come across a name, I might say something along those lines, I guess. But honestly, the only woman I ever knew named Pillock was the woman I was with named Pillock. So I never heard anybody else say pillock before, so I've never found myself in that situation.
Well, would you specifically refer to her as Pillock, the woman I had sex with?
I don't know that. Listen, goblins do a number of gross things, but I don't tend to share those kind of business. I feel my intimate times with who I share my intimate times with are between she and I. What happens in one person's bivouac in the corner of it is their own business.
You guys, something's been bugging me for a few minutes now. I guess only seconds, really. I have to let it out. I have to. I'm a virgin. Cashinon's a virgin, and I don't want it to eat at me. Now I'm crying. So
I'm just gonna say, and I don't mean this to be harsh, I don't think this is a revelation particularly. You seem like you've taken a lot of time to find yourself. You might have been a late bloomer. Doesn't seem like you had a real opportunity to. Seems like you're just really letting your guard down and getting out into the world.
yeah, thank you. That's what I said. You know, you can't really do that at a monastery. And when I was at the markets with my jewelry, it was like, how do you really strike up, you know, a relationship with someone when you're just selling your goods? And that's not something I want to mix and match. So
listen, if I had known, I feel bad. I want to say again, I feel bad about throwing rocks at y'all just yesterday. I mean, you're much more complicated and much more emotionally open than anybody I've ever come across, and I just want to say I appreciate
I'm
it.
confused. Why does it matter if someone's had sex?
It
team up. And
it doesn't matter if
Doesn't.
anyone
Okay.
has sex.
Is this like a thing in elven culture that I because we just don't
you just don't.
I came from a big family, so you know there was obviously something going on there, and
The ways trees reproduce, it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole thing. Cashinon, I wonder if this revelation you've just shared with us is maybe a reason there's tension between you and me.
I
And
felt it
kindred
too.
spirit.
I felt it too, and I just, you know, as we continue on, if we're all gonna, I mean, are we gonna be on a ship together for a while? I don't know what's gonna happen, and you know, I just wanted out there. I didn't know maybe you were the people who would judge on if someone had had sex or not. It's nice to hear that not everyone does.
Listen,
So.
No, I'm extremely promiscuous.
Yeah, as a goblin, I mean, we live short, violent lives, so we tend to want to procreate pretty much immediately. I mean, I've accidentally had sex. I've been sleeping in my own bed, and somebody thought it was theirs and come over, and one thing led to another, and you know, it's a different experience. I don't judge anybody for yours, and I don't judge anybody for mine, and.
Wow.
Wait a minute. What's that? Are you talking about in the cave that we're leaving right now?
Well, not
You
this
said you
particular cave. No, I mean, this was a business cave. There wasn't a lot of tomfoolery. I mean, you get around a bunch of religious zealots, they don't tend to want to have sex all that much. They tend to be repressed and take that rage and send it off. But back home, I mean, on the other side of the island, I mean, yeah, you'd lie down for a nap and you'd be half in somebody when you woke up. You didn't even mean it to happen. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm making anyway, we should I put a robe on or something when we go into town? I feel like I don't know that I should just be are you guys gonna protect me, or where's your boat?
Yes, but I think maybe a disguise would be good.
All right then.
I thought you meant. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Me too.
No,
I'm not naked right now. You can see I'm fully clothed.
Now that you mentioned it, I do notice that.
But we're gonna go into the halfling part of town, and they don't particularly care for goblins. There seems to be they were making bread but the world was bread, and then the goblins and the halflings didn't like each other.
Oh, they told you that story about
Land bread.
What kind of bread was it?
It's unclear. And then
Well, it's like a crescent roll.
not to eat the ground, so I didn't taste it.
I wonder if David could bake that bread.
Oh, has David had sex?
Are we talking in euphemisms again, or are you actually talking about somebody that you know who has a fondness for making bread?
It's another ex of mine. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
Oh.
The rock and roll years.
The rock and roll years.
Or was this the soft rock or adult contemporary years?
It was glam rock.
Oh, that's
Cool.
actually better.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to bread.
Well, I'm not too good at making myself disguised. It's not one of my specialities, but if anybody has any kind of expertise in how to make me, I mean, I'm short as a halfling. I imagine I could do that. If
But
anybody,
Pat, you could wear your cloak that I've been wearing if you.
well, that's a fair trade. I wouldn't be taking that back from you now.
Ooh, I'm good at stealth.
Deception?
I mean,
Performance?
if you feel confident enough that you could hide me among your numbers and lie to people about me being there, by all means, it's
Maybe-
fine suspect to me.
Perhaps we could form like a circle and he could just stand in the center of us all the time.
Hold on a second. Actually, I might have something for this.
All right, I was gonna say I don't know.
Zep,
I
I
don't-
feel like that might be kind of obvious.
No. There's enough of us that we're just traveling in a group. I think.
You mean
it
we all move? We all are just facing outward and moving.
Like an
Anyone
atom.
have a very long trench coat?
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, the longest thing I had was the cloak, but it's about the size of Cashinon. It's not too much larger than that.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know the puppet maker, right?
Jizranai, I don't know personally, but I know of him, yeah.
Well, if we can find that puppet maker, we might be able to. That's like a friendly face, a goblin-friendly person that we could stash what's bat with. Maybe they have a place that we could.
What you would know too, Valerian, is that your ship
We
is
went
on.
past our boat.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
not at the most populated part of town. You would have to do some kind of shuffling to get him there, but like once you got him to the boat, he could probably hide out there.
I have some vestments. I could give you some vestments to wear there, old baggy.
If you think I'll look more normal in it, I'll certainly try.
And then if we just stop, Clatch will definitely let you on and you can hang out on the boat for a little bit until we get to more goblin friendly territory, if that's okay with you.
That sounds fine by me. I don't want to get any of y'all in trouble. That's my worry.
You might be on the boat for a little while, just you and Clatch. He's not a big talker, because we're gonna have to take care of some stuff in town first. Is that okay? That we're just gonna leave you on the boat for a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm thrilled as can be to be getting off this island and seeing something. I never even set foot on a proper boat.
Oh, great. Well, then why don't we do that? We'll stop by my boat and then, well, it's technically Clatch's boat. And then we can head back into town.
All right then, that sounds all right by me.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan, everybody. Good work. Everybody in.
Oh, sure. This is fun.
Let's go, team.
One,
team.
two,
Oh.
team.
Team.
I was on top and just held my hand up for a while there. Didn't know we were doing a countdown.
Someone's hands were very moist in there.
I'm a.
That's probably me.
That makes sense, Blair.
I also sweat a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sweaty
that
stuff.
way.
All right, so guys, we can start this now if you want. We're at 9:52. We can get back into town, get back to the inn, and those sorts of things if you would like to wrap those things up. But we are kind of close to our typical cutoff point if you just want to call that a night here. It's up to you guys.
It would, for me, just I want to clean up a little bit before my roommates get home from
Great.
the weekend. It looks like a single person has been living here in quarantine.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Okay.
0 concurrent viewers and 0 likes at the moment, so I don't think anybody's going to be too upset if we close up shop.
We start next time with what's that and the boat. and then head into town.
Yeah. We'll pick up there. We'll probably just roll like a deception check or something to get you guys there, and then we'll be good to go.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. This was just roll with it. Yeah.
Woo!
Bye. Wash those hands.